from Australia, everyone. I am very honored to have the opportunity to be part of the World Unity Week 2022. I'm representing humanity towards sustainability. This is a newly launched global awareness project. There are many wonderful projects around the world, many represented at the World Unity Week, coming together. A key to the difference of humanity towards sustainability is that we are looking at the grassroots of the problem all species face today. About 11,000 years ago, humanity started agriculture. We started building fences. We needed armies eventually to protect those fences. We created monopolies over food. We created a have and have not society. Nature always was the treasure. Nature was the miracle that had in abundance. We exchanged the treasure that nature is with the illusion of wealth. Humanity created a monetary system that till this point they do not realize is our biggest problem. Mining. The way we are mining, the danger we put people into to get gold for jewelry out of the ground, to get diamonds because they are shiny. Drug runs, prostitution, bank robberies, kidnapping, corruption, wars, you name it. It's all in the pursuit of wealth. Pharmaceutical companies. We have natural healing capabilities. The human system is so underused. We have 1 million neurons per brain cell. Now, with any computer created in that way, we would wonder, why do we have so many connections that we are not using? We have been unlearned. Telepathy, remote viewing, remote healing. It's not a talent, it's part of our sensory system. It's part of those billion neuron connections we are not engaging with. Eastern science has known that for thousands of years. Western science has trouble seeing that because consciousness is something that can't be measured. Consciousness stems from the interconnected universe that we are, its evolution. Humanity is the first species suffering self-consciousness. Consciousness came in 3 levels to date. We started with single consciousness. We could do nothing but observe. And I'm not talking humans, living organisms. All we do is observe, no thought. It's a pure form of gaining wisdom. The second phase of consciousness became conceptual consciousness. We now had the means, based on our past observation during single consciousness, to put concepts together. We saw if there is fire, rain will extinguish the fire. So we realized the concept of water and fire. We began to understand leverage from tools, weapons. Conceptual consciousness allowed us to react and protect our lives. As we got trained in concepts and protection, we were granted single consciousness. Self-consciousness. Stage 3, self-consciousness. Now, self-consciousness is a beautiful thing when it protects your life and you run for your life because you love yourself enough to protect yourself. Your life is worth saving. However, we also were given duality. Duality means we can interpret. We have perceptions, we have opinions, but we're no longer basing our truth on observation. which we learned during that phase of single consciousness, where we could only observe. We didn't have the capacity to form an opinion. Now these days, especially in the age of information technology, we are bombarded with manufactured articles guiding us to think certain ways, marketing. They've done so much neuroscientific research to manipulate the masses. It's used in shopping, consumer experiences. It's used in politics. It is used throughout. Anything you do in a day, you're watching a movie, or you read a newspaper, or you pick up your iPhone, you will have messages constantly working on trying to buy space in your brain. Humanity has to go back to simplify. David Suzuki and many other scientists are warning about the life-giving qualities of Mother Earth. We have a limited time left to wake up, to actually protect this, and once more create balance and harmony on this planet and amongst all species. There is no species that was created by coincidence. Humanity have a collective purpose that we have failed to realize because of our ego function. We come first. We protect ourselves. We want wealth over the other. Our education system teaches us to be competitive. Employment tells us you got to be the best performer, otherwise you're out. We're a very unhealthy, greedy society. All we do is exploit. Did you know that 2 doses of antibiotics per year increase your likeliness of depression by 50%? All doctors do these days, prescribe antibiotics. Humans get resistant to it. Then we go on to the next medication, which is the antidepressant that actually affects our dopamine regulator in the brain, which means when we get off the antidepressant medication, we're going to suffer straight away from depression because we can't produce natural dopamine. It's a vicious cycle. We are exploited, constantly exploited. The way to fix this, the way to make our planet accept us and harmonize with us, is we have to go back 11,000 years when we started on the wrong path. We have to go back there and say, okay, we got decisions to make. On this side, we got the treasure of nature. On this side, we got the illusion of human wealth. The treasure of nature is the one given by the miracle that gives us life. The monetary system has totally failed. It's totally wrong for our intellect. Anything that would create war between nations, that would give us a reason to even have borders, is absurd. Our purpose as a species is to protect and serve Mother Earth and all the species, all the creations. We need to live in harmony with it. If we realized that nature is our treasure, we stay connected with nature. We feel our connection. As we are only engaged in the monetary system, we fight for survival. It's such a beautiful tool for the elite to manage the masses. We struggle for survival. 99% are actually fighting. We need to keep our jobs. We need to do jobs that we actually don't believe in, that may harm other people. But we have no choice. We got to stay in those jobs because otherwise we can't care for our families. We can't pay our mortgages. The slavedom didn't stop. They just dressed it into a credit system. Banks give you loans. What you're really getting is chains. Humanity towards sustainability sees a system where we change the monetary system and the global system to make it human-friendly for the masses. Wealth needs to be equally distributed, and we can do that. Money no longer is backed by gold reserves. It is printed. In the recent conflict that we see in Europe, look at the billions and billions of dollars that have been made available to keep a war going, to buy weapons. On both sides, don't take sides, there is no point. We are being manipulated. We are the plebs. The big key players are making money out of these conflicts. Very easy it was for every government around the world that supports this conflict, on one side or the other, to make available these funds. Poverty. They haven't got money for hospitals. They haven't got money for the homeless. They pretend there's some nice lip service, especially before elections, but real care looks different. Real care does not buy weapons for peacekeeping. Real care establishes a sustainable environment in the region that has conflict. We go in and look for common goals. We look at what is the conflict? How do we now create something that is our common benefit? That is how an intelligent species approaches conflict together. The Humanity Towards Sustainability project, changing political systems around the world, will not be very popular. We change ownership, regulations around the world. Resources will be owned by everyone. It won't be China, Russia, America, Africa, and Australia. It will be humanity that owns and carefully, responsibly deals with resources. If this system comes in, if we can have a sustainable system away from the monetary system as we know it, we need to ask for health of ourselves and health of our planet before wealth. Wealth creation got us into the problem where we now may have a planet that no longer can sustain life within 30 years. This is a challenge humanity is facing, a challenge that humanity has to realize we have to solve as one, as collective. Humanity is heading from self-consciousness into collective consciousness. Collective consciousness is what people would have heard of as knowledge from source or Akash, Akashic records. Collective consciousness is the wisdom of all. It is when people start to function in their sensory system that they can pick up from energy that is in the atmosphere. We translate it. That is what telepathy is all about. That's what remote viewing is about. It's what you sensing whether it's hot or cold. You put your hand under the tap, is it cold water, is it hot water? It's your sensory system that will tell you. Well, our sensory system, with those billion neuron connections we have, can do so much more than test for the temperature in the water. It can do so much more than just read the mind of one other person or to locate a missing person 10,000 kilometers away. We can do much more than that. We can know what the internet knows without the internet. We are wireless technology already. It's how Jesus functioned. It is how the Buddha functioned. It is how Muhammad and many others, all the sages, today many yogis, and all the yogis over the thousands of years, that's how they functioned. They were the early people gifted with falling into collective consciousness. We call it enlightenment. Well, humanity is heading for an enlightened species. That's our evolutional path. It will slowly unravel as it already has for a few thousand years, and it will pick up speed, as it seems to be at present, still a path we have to take. What motivates me is to get humanity to that stage, to keep our planet clean, to keep our planet functioning through our primitive form of violence and greed that we are practicing today. We need to get past this system to make it into collective consciousness as a species and create an intelligent, peaceful species living in harmony with everyone else. Equality, sharing wealth equally amongst all global citizens, is one such important part. The consequences of sharing equal the wealth globally will be immense. We change the system, no child will be feeling neglected, no child will have less opportunity than another. We are all equal. Once we know we are all equal and are treated and receive equal, we will flourish. Not by chasing wealth, by chasing health, and by realizing in health is the treasure of nature. Health only can come with harmony with all. We need to balance. How do we see this implemented? At the moment, we're a very new group, Humanity Towards Sustainability. Our first campaign is a campaign where we are inviting schools and students from around the world to write letters, 300 to 1200 words. Tell us in those, what do the words humanity towards sustainability mean to you? Students are likely to look up on the website what we do, what we speak about, where we mention greed and sustainability and the causes that lead us to the struggle we are in today, whilst we also have the solutions listed of how we can change, how we can reverse climate change. Our topsoil, 70% of the global topsoil agriculturally, is sterile. Yet the fungi network that is supposed to be in our topsoil is the cooling pad of the planet. It's like the air conditioner. We sprayed with pesticides. We got no more nutrients in our food. Our vegetables, they look beautiful, but have no nutrients. It's a sterile soil. There are simple steps to organically restore our topsoil. It doesn't happen overnight. But if we are only given 30 years, if we are to take David Suzuki and some other scientists at their word and say we got 30 years, then what we are trying to do today is engage in a campaign for the next 10 years that gives us the opportunity for students that become future leaders, for their parents, their grandparents, their friends to get engaged in this subject, add what they learn, and come with the solutions together. We will have to make a choice in 10 years. The way it looks today, the alternative is develop and establish the humanity towards sustainability concept, where we go beyond the monetary system as we know it and create equal wealth, create collective ownership of property while still having perfect living conditions and creating dwellings and homes that are sustainably built for homeless. We will no longer have borders. We will no longer have a need for weapons and military, because we are sitting in the bus heading for the cliff. Unless we stop quarreling and arguing, we will hit that. We have no way out. We are told, don't say the world stops because you're scaring everyone. But it's like sitting in that bus and telling everyone to look out the side window while we're heading for the cliff. Nobody will do anything. We need to take drastic steps to unify, to walk together, to solve this together. As we print money to buy weapons, let's print money to create a fair system that distributes equally. Let's stop conflict. I don't believe the soldiers on the grounds on either side want to kill each other. I believe that they are very motivated by a system that doesn't give them a choice. A system that corrupts the human mind into many ways of evil. That's what the monetary system, that's what wealth has done to us. All we do is exploit for our survival. We need to change that if we want to go on. If in 10 years we can see fit to walk to a sustainable society, we then can begin climate change, which is so important because you have no idea what will happen if we reach a temperature predicted where helium will rise. If helium leaves the biosphere, within minutes we are dead because we can't breathe, within 1 minute. Helium is in H2O. Helium is in what we need to survive. The extinction of so many species. I read the other day, every 6th species presently in Europe is under the threat of extinction. And there, Germany is considering fracking for gas. Now Germany and Norway are looking for more gas. Australia is fracking for gas. What crazy system. Our politicians talk about carbon pricing as a solution. Wow. The lip service we are getting just so they can keep making money. Carbon pricing, what it will do, it will allow the rich international conglomerates to pay for the pollution they create. Who do you think pays the bill? We, the end user, the product. So it's business as usual for them. They're going to pollute, they're going to pay for the pollution, they pass the price on to us. Who is paying for all the weapons NATO requires? Who is paying for the weapons now sent to the conflict? The taxpayer. We are paying for everything. We are being taken for the biggest ride in this system, and we are killing our planet and all the species in the process. Unconditional love is not a hippie term. If we can teach people to wake, to connect to themselves, their soul, we can teach them to connect to the planet. When they feel that connection, they'll be very motivated to engage in a system that will not only sustain the life-giving system of our planet, but it will take humanity into collective consciousness, will open the path to transition for humanity that finally can be at peace. A humanity that can grow and understand why we have 1 billion neurons per brain cell. Our minds, our functions are so far beyond what we believe today. Our limitations created by the ego are illusions. We can do much more. As a species, learn your power. Use silent meditation. Question everything. Questions are your teachers. The system, the news, are external influenced wisdom. Be mindful. Follow your heart. Learn to understand unconditional love. From the 18th to the 22nd of June, during your event of World Unity Week, Humanity Towards Sustainability is hosting a global meditation. Check it out on our website. Check it out on our Facebook page if you like to join. It's about unconditional love. I thank you for being here. Troy Nobody.